The Ghost of Harriet, the true horror history of Charleville Castle, Ireland. The ancient forests of County Offaly, Ireland, hide many secrets, but none are as chilling as those surrounding Charleville Castle. Rising above the trees like something from a Gothic nightmare, the castle has stood for more than 2 centuries, watching generations come and go. During the day, visitors admire its magnificent architecture and rich history. Yet when darkness settles over the forest and the wind begins to whisper through the old oak trees, many believe the castle reveals a far darker side. Among all the ghost stories connected to Charleville Castle, one spirit has become famous around the world, a little girl named Harriet. Charleville Castle was built between 1798 and 1814 for the Earl of Charleville. The massive Gothic mansion was designed to impress, with grand halls, sweeping staircases, and elegant rooms filled with luxury. However, the castle was not built on ordinary land. It stood in the middle of one of Ireland's oldest oak forests, a place surrounded by centuries of folklore and superstition. Long before the castle existed, local legends claimed that supernatural beings roamed these woods. Ancient Celtic stories spoke of spirits, hidden worlds, and mysterious forces that lived among the trees. Many locals believed that disturbing the forest could awaken things better left alone. For decades, life inside Charleville Castle appeared peaceful. Aristocratic families hosted lavish gatherings, servants maintained the enormous estate, and children played throughout the castle's endless corridors. Among those children was Harriet, a young girl whose name would one day become inseparable from the castle's haunted reputation. Historical records about Harriet are limited, but according to local tradition, she was a cheerful child who loved exploring every corner of the mansion. The castle was her playground, filled with hidden passages, grand rooms, and towering staircases that seemed to stretch endlessly upward. One tragic day, Harriet's life came to a sudden and devastating end. According to the story passed down through generations, she was playing near the castle's magnificent central staircase. Like many children, she was running and laughing, completely unaware of the danger around her. Then, in a terrible instant, she lost her footing. Witnesses reportedly heard screams echo through the halls as Harriet fell down the staircase. Family members and servants rushed to help, but the injuries were severe. Despite every effort to save her, Harriet died shortly afterward. The castle that had once been filled with her laughter was suddenly consumed by grief. The tragedy left a deep mark on everyone who lived there. Servants whispered about the accident in hushed voices. Family members reportedly struggled to speak about what had happened. Some refused to use the staircase where the accident occurred. The atmosphere inside the castle changed. What had once felt warm and lively now seemed strangely quiet. As months turned into years, strange stories began to circulate among the staff. People claimed they could still hear the sound of a child running through the halls late at night. Others reported hearing laughter when no children were present. At first, these stories were dismissed as imagination born from sadness. But the reports continued. One of the earliest and most common experiences involved hearing footsteps. Late at night, when the castle should have been completely silent, servants claimed they could hear the rapid footsteps of a child running along empty corridors. The sounds often seemed to travel from one floor to another. When someone investigated, they found nothing. No child. No visitor. No explanation. Some witnesses described hearing the footsteps stop directly outside their door, only for silence to follow when they opened it. As years passed, sightings began replacing sounds. Visitors and staff reported seeing a young girl standing in hallways or at the top of staircases. She often appeared only for a few seconds before vanishing. Witnesses consistently described a child wearing old-fashioned clothing from another era. Sometimes she appeared calm and curious. Other times she seemed sad, staring silently into the distance. Many of these sightings occurred near the staircase where Harriet was said to have died. Perhaps the most disturbing reports involve hearing a child crying. Numerous visitors have described hearing soft sobbing coming from empty rooms. The sound often begins faintly, as if coming from somewhere far away. As witnesses move closer, the crying seems to shift location, leading them deeper into the castle. Eventually, the sound disappears completely. Several people have claimed they followed the cries only to find themselves standing alone in deserted hallways. The experience left many shaken long after leaving the castle. One famous account involved a visitor who became separated from her tour group. While exploring one of the upper floors, she noticed a little girl standing quietly near a doorway. Assuming the child belonged to another family visiting the castle, she smiled and continued walking. Moments later, she glanced back and discovered the girl had vanished. There was nowhere she could have gone. The corridor was empty. No doors had opened. No footsteps had been heard. Later, when describing the encounter to castle staff, she reportedly learned about Harriet for the first time. The description she provided closely matched the ghostly figure seen by many others. As Charleville Castle gained fame, paranormal investigators began arriving from around the world. Armed with cameras, audio recorders, motion sensors, and infrared equipment, they hoped to document evidence of the haunting. Many groups reported unusual activity. Some claimed their batteries drained unexpectedly. Others described sudden cold spots that appeared without warning. Several investigators reported hearing unexplained voices during recording sessions. A few even claimed to capture images of a young girl standing in windows or hallways where no living person was present. Not all encounters involve Harriet. Over the years, witnesses have reported seeing dark shadow figures moving through the castle. Unlike the child spirit, these entities are often associated with feelings of fear and unease. Visitors describe glimpsing tall human-shaped shadows at the ends of corridors. When approached, the figures disappear. Some paranormal researchers believe the castle may be home to multiple spirits, each connected to different periods of its long history. The castle itself contributes greatly to its unsettling reputation. At night, Charleville Castle transforms into something entirely different from the grand estate seen during daylight. Moonlight filters through tall windows, casting strange shapes across ancient walls. Floorboards creak beneath unseen pressure. The wind howls through hidden spaces in the stonework. Even those who do not believe in ghosts often admit that spending a night inside the castle can be deeply unnerving. The atmosphere alone is enough to make visitors question what they see and hear. The surrounding forest adds another layer to the mystery. Many locals believe the ancient woodland around Charleville Castle is haunted as well. People have reported hearing whispers among the trees, seeing unexplained lights moving through the darkness, and feeling as though they were being watched while walking through the forest at night. Some suggest that whatever haunts the castle may have existed long before the building was constructed. Today, Charleville Castle remains one of Ireland's most famous haunted locations. Ghost hunters, tourists, historians, and paranormal enthusiasts continue to visit, hoping to experience something unexplained. While skeptics argue that the stories are the result of folklore, suggestion, and the castle's eerie atmosphere, believers point to the countless reports collected over decades. The mystery remains unresolved. Was Harriet truly trapped within the castle after her tragic death? Are the footsteps, laughter, and sightings evidence of a restless spirit refusing to leave the place she once called home? Or are these stories simply the product of imagination shaped by history and legend? No one can say for certain. Yet as the sun sets over the ancient forest of County Offaly and darkness begins to consume the towering halls of Charleville Castle, many visitors find themselves glancing nervously toward the grand staircase. Because if the legends are true, somewhere in the shadows, a little girl may still be wandering the castle she never truly left.